This playthrough is rated T for teen. What's better than giant robots? Giant robots fighting in a strategy RPG! Greetings and salutations, viewers. Vauldemare back here with a new game from my library. This time it's Super Robot Taisen, original generation. Created by Banpresto and published by Atlus Games in 2006 for the Game Boy Advance. Original Super Robot Taisen has a history of making strategy games using known licenses from other series and franchises like Gundam, Transformers, Power Rangers, and the like. But unfortunately in America we couldn't get that because legal stuff is dumb. And we can't get it legally. So to make up for that in the West, they created original generation for our pure Western ears and eyes. So these are all original characters for this series, and let's see what this story is all about. Alright, so this game has two different protagonists depending on how you play. We got Ryusei, the lovable go-getter who, learns the power of teamwork and friendship and becomes a better person for it over the course of his journey. While we've got Kyosuke, the mercenary with a semi-dark past and takes a little bit more of a darker turn for the world of Super Robot Taisen. You play the characters depending on how you feel, really. Are you more into typical Japanese protagonists? Or are you into more Western influenced type of protagonists? Do you want more like Voltron, Power Ranger situation, or do you want more like Mobile Suit Gundam and darker shows like that? Well, I'm a fan of the Western stuff myself, and weirdly enough, in terms of Gundam, the most popular series, at least in America, out of all of them was Gundam Wing, because of how, well, it was actually drastically different from the other ones previously to that point. So you can play either one. Story-wise, Ryusei starts first, and then Kyosuke kind of works alongside him along the type of the journey. But I want to go dark and gritty, so let's play Kyosuke and see what his journey is all about. 179 Southeast, Pluto, Outer Sector. Uh-oh, a bit of danger going on here in space. All units report status. Block 49 and second bridge are gone. Main cannon is disabled. And Gigan Pseudo. Sorry, I don't have trouble with that one for some reason. Surrounded by unknown enemies, sir. We're overmatched, sir. We should retreat. There must be something we can do. These bug-like mechs are not of this world, sir. Aliens! Better pull out the green cards. No, sorry. Most likely, considering their size and numbers. Their carrier must be near. We're in grave danger, sir. Just when we reach the outer rim of the solar system. I know, I'm sorry, sir, but we must retreat. If Hiryu sustains any more damage, we'll never make it back to Earth or even Mars. Very well, recover Gigan and pull back. You'll pay for this. Nearly two centuries ago, the human race advanced into space, ushering in the dawn of a new era, the space era. Due to the devastation and turmoil caused by the meteors that struck Earth in the early years of the 21st century, human life changed little over time. In 179 South E, a third meteor, Meteor 3, struck the Earth near the Marquesas Islands in the South Pacific. A research team dispatched by the Earth Federal Government, EFG, discovered that Meteor 3 consists of substances containing technology previously unknown to man. They call this new technology Extra-Over Technology, EOT. Further analysis were conducted by the EOT Investigative Committee, EOITI, under the strict supervision of the EOT Council. Upon conclusion of the investigation, Dr. Bayan Zoldar, the head of the EOTI, reported to the EFG and the Earth Federation Army that invasion by extraterrestrial beings was highly probable. The EFG took the warning seriously, and the development of personal troopers, humanoid mobile units, began. See, they give an explanation why there's giant walking robots in this world, which feasibly wouldn't make any sense. They cost too much and be too heavy. But because of this technology, we get giant robots. Yeah, that's all about to be testing this the mech. Sir, I have a question. What is it? I saw the spec sheet. This mech is Wild Robot. Yeah, there's a lot of German in this game as well as Japanese, so buckle up, folks. Becomes highly unstable when it transforms. It's not capable of handling a live fire exercise. Live fire? The tanks are only loaded with paint rounds. At worst, you'll have to clean the paint off your mech. Live fire isn't my only concern. Are you trying to disobey Vauldemare's corporal? No, sir. I would risk my life to follow your orders. But I'll have trouble evading enemy fire, so we won't get reliable data from the mech. Should we risk a valuable PT just for the sake of conducting some tests? I make the decision here, Kyosuke. But didn't guessment number 2 go missing because of unnecessary testing, sir? This test is necessary to improve the mech. You disappoint me. Don't you have any guts? Do you have it? Guts! ... It's urgent we develop a powerful airborne PT, but... Now report to the test area, Corporal. Roger that. I don't like him. Oh well, he's piloting a defective mech. I'll be rid of him soon enough. It's a small sacrifice to make to have Mao Industries beholden to me. Yeah, this guy seems like a jerk. Episode 1, Broken Wings. The Wild Robot Roboteer is overgrown. Target drones placed and ready to go. Are you ready, Kyosuke? Yes, sir. Good, I'll collect the data now. Thank you, Lieutenant Erm. The Wild Roboteer is our first variable PT. Treat her well. We don't want her to get wrecked while the commander's away. Roger that. Then begin and have some fun. The only paint rounds. Yes, sir. Paint rounds powerful enough to shoot you down. Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. Alright, this is the battle scene right here. Everything is in grid formation. Nope, don't want to save yet. If you press the start button, you can save it. If you press select, you can get a overview of the map of where the enemies are. Yeah, it kind of looks like it was made in MS Paint. Oh well. That's GBA for you. But anyway, if you press the B button, we can go into the menu settings. We can end the phase. We can check our units. Right now, we're in the Wild Roboteer FM, which we can highlight here. We got 3,700 HP, 120 energy. Our type of unit is air, which means we're basically our unit is really good in the air and air combat in terms of like fighting and all this other stuff. Kyosuke is level 4. He has 100 will, and he has 0 beat. 0 beat means how many enemies he's killed over the course of the game. Will change depending on how often you get hit in battle, as well as how often you defeat enemies in battle. So that can raise and lower depending. Need means how much experience points I need for a level. Support means what he can support an ally with defending or helping him out depending on the situation. Let's look at the pilot info. Kyosuke Nanbu, he's level 4. He's got 1,500 experience, needs 500. The stats here are what dictates like his ability to damage and how effective he is in that type of combat. So melee is pretty obvious, it's close quarters combat. Defense is how much damage he can take. Like the higher defense, the lower HP damage you take. Range is your range, how good you are at ranged combat. Hit is obviously your hit percentages, like how easy it is for you to hit, and that's divided. I'll have to look up the specs again for how to figure it out. But hit is taken into the evade, so that's how you figure out like the percentages. There are ways to affect these percentages outside of just hit and evade, but man, what that is basically your skill. It affects how often you can crit or get critted, and evade is obvious. It's how often you can avoid based off their hit percentage totals and your evade totals is how often you can dodge attacks. Pilot points are when you beat enemies, clear certain objectives or whatever, you can get pilot points, which upgrade your character. And skill points is basically the magic stat in the game. Whenever you use skills, you use spirit points. After you use those spirit points, you're out until the next battle, unless you have like an item or some way to restore it, or if you have some skill that lets you restore it. Kyosuke comes with the Excel and Focus ability. He also has the skill Fortune and Counter. Counter means he can counter in combat other units. Fortune means he gains extra money for, I believe it's 1.2 times the current credits for killing enemies. So you want to have Kyosuke I mean, yes, you want to have all your characters kill enemies, but Kyosuke has a extra benefit for killing guys, which he gets more money. At the bottom of the screen, it says air, ground, water, and space. That means how effective he is when it comes to hitting and dodging in those specific areas as a pilot. Your ship works a bit differently as a pilot, but those are his general skills, so he's pretty good overall except in water. Obviously, being a main character, he should be good in a lot of things. Weapon-wise, this is what our plane has. We have AA missiles, we have AG missiles, aerial bombs, and beam cannons. AA missiles do 2,000 damage, 2 to 7 range, 50 to hit. Below that, the will. Some enemies require a high will stat to hit. Luckily, this weapon doesn't require it. Energy means how much energy is required to use the weapon. This one doesn't require any energy. Skill, sometimes certain skills are required to use certain weapons. This one doesn't require it. This one's really good in air, but is really bad in like water, for example. And it requires ammo. So certain weapons in the game require usually something, ammo or energy. Sometimes neither if it's like a sword weapon or something like that. This current weapon is a missile, and its ranged weapon has no extra critical chances. We got the AG missiles, basically better for like ground and water is basically what that one's for. Then we got aerial bomb, which is really good in ground, but that's pretty much it. But it has a really high crit, but you have to be right next to the unit to do that. Then we got the beam cannon. So I mean, this game is basically heavily inspired with giant mecha like Gundam and stuff like that. More Gundam more than anything. I mean, yeah, they have mechs from all different types of franchises, but Gundam seems to be the biggest inspiration. Well, Gundam inspired a lot of anime and genres, so it makes sense. It costs like 30 energy, so you can only use it so many times before it wears out. But it does. It's really good against air and space. It has a 10 to crit, so. Alright, here's our spirit ability. Excel, what that does is it allows us to move 3 extra squares as during your turn. If you don't move, it'll stay on your person until you use it. Focus raises your hit and evade rates by 30%, which is really nice, so if you want to reduce your damages. So, and then we've got a couple enemies here. We got some tanks and planes. Unfortunately, we can't actually check the stats of a tank or plane or any enemy until we actually hit them once or encounter them in a previous encounter. Then we can take a look at their stats. This is a beginning tutorial battle, so don't worry about it. Also, if you press if you press A on certain locations, it'll actually tell you certain benefits you get for staying on that square. So if I was on this square, for example, it's a hangar, so I get 30% defense, but my hit drops by 30%. So that can be pretty bad. But you get a HP boost and an energy boost while there as well. So, a little column A for column B. So sometimes you want to check around to see when you're moving around what benefits there are. A lot of places don't have any benefits, but every once in a while you come across things, so keep that in mind. I'll probably say that a lot during this whole game. Also, we have our mission objectives. We have enemies all shut down as the win condition. Losing condition is Kyosuke shut down. Makes sense. And we have a secret requirement called the Battle Mastery. What Battle Mastery is you'll get a Battle Mastery point every time you do this, and you get extra benefits for doing this, but you also increase the difficulty of the game if you do too many Battle Masteries back to back. So right now we're on normal mode. If I get 3 or more of these, it depends on how many Battle Masteries I get over the course of the game. The difficulty can change. But if you get a lot of Battle Masteries, it immediately goes to hard mode. And hard mode is like, smarter AI, slightly more dangerous, stuff like that. So depending on the well you do, the game makes up for it. You're like, oh, this game's too easy, huh? Alright, then we got the search function. What this does is helps you find units that have certain skills. So if you're in combat and you're like, oh man, I need to figure out who has focus. So you search it and it tells you which units has focus. So it's just a way to cycle through units faster. You can also use the shoulder buttons to do that too. We got the system unit, which allows us to turn the grid off. We got the battle game music. You can either keep it or change it depending on when you attack, or because every time you attack, you activate battle game music, or you can just leave it. So I usually like just keeping it, but that's up to you. Then you can also change button configuration. We can also save the game. It'll do an in-game save, which gets deleted when you load up the game overall. And then you can also press start to do that as well. So, okay. So we need to defeat this in 2 turns. So this actually isn't that hard of a fight overall, because it's a tutorial fight. But we'll pretend it's difficult anyway. So, all right. Let's go and use our Excel. Now, as soon as I use Excel, if you look at the if we go to Spirit again, if we look at our skills, see under there when it says SC under the portrait, it has AC. That means we've activated Excel. So if there's nothing there, that means it's not active. So look at that and pay attention. And then let's hit focus so we can get hit and evade up, because we want to make sure we should be able to hit these guys pretty easy, but why not? Let's we have the skill points, so we have to do this in 2 turns anyway. So all right. So let's see. We want to make sure we're pretty close to. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's where I want to go there. So, all right. That's beam cannon. Let's see. Just thinking really quick where I want to move to. So. Actually, you know what? Actually, let me move here instead. Yeah, that'll work. Actually, no. Yeah, sorry. I always just like, I always want to be picture perfect with this, you know. So, yeah, we'll just move here. All right, let's beam cannon one of these guys. Alright, so this shows off this would show off the stat of the enemies, but since we haven't fought them before, there will be question marks until we fight them. And the hit percentage is pretty low at 20%. It tells us what our hit percentages and their hit percentages are. So if you need to back out and change your mind, you're like, okay, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to hit very well or whatever. And then you choose whichever ability. Some weapons you can only use before moving, and some you can use after moving. It also depends on where you're sitting at as well. So in this case, let's just have it attack one of the tanks. And you can also watch the animation too. In this game, yeah, it's one of those where it shows, like, you know, kind of like an anime where sometimes the people like scream on screen, they'll scream an attack or say a line or whatever. So I'm probably gonna have this on maybe half the time, because if I leave it on for every single encounter, this game will last forever. Although you can skip the animation if you really want to during it. So I'll leave it on mainly because it activates their battle game music. Yeah, like a lot of characters in this game have unique battle music, but some will have generic stuff, but most of them will be pretty good. The music in this game is fantastic, I think, overall. A lot of toe tappers for the most part, so it's hard to balance. Is it because the moon has less gravitational pull? Oh well, let's do this. How about a bet? Odds are you're going down. Alright, does it go down? Not quite, but pretty close. Paint rounds? That one was live! Lieutenant Colonel Hans, this is Kyosuke. Do you copy? You have an emergency call, sir. Disregard it. He should be able to handle this himself. I wasn't aware the drones were loaded with live rounds. Am I obligated to report such matters to you? You bastard! What's going on? No matter. I've got to survive this. Alright, let's end our phase. And we'll let it ride. Yeah, usually the game will choose the most. I can dodge if necessary. Usually the game will choose the most opportune weapon to use. You came unprepared against the enemy. You can choose to change it if you really feel it differently, but 9 times out of 10 I'll use the default. It really depends on how the situation's going though. All right, main gun. So yeah, they can't even hit me. Mobility is this mech's strength. Now I've seen your hand. Now here's mine. Yeah, Kyosuke uses a lot of gambling terms or poker terms when he fights. So. Oh, if you want to skip his the animation, I'll let this go first. Such power, but you can't nail me with one shot. Shooting isn't my strength. I'm not complaining though. Yeah, he's more of a melee guy. Yeah, it's kind of weird. The first combat makes him use his melee attacks. But yeah, if you use the A button during combat, it'll immediately, even if you have animations on, you'll cut it. So I'll show you. Yeah, see. Like if you want to just have the music play, for example. So, all right. We don't really need Excel anymore, so it doesn't matter. So let's move over to. Actually, we just hit him from here, really, to tell you the truth. So. Yeah, might as well play this range. I got you! But yeah, it's really easy to fight these people. They're way too simple, so. I see it! Alright, let's, whoops. It's in the face. Oh, and by the way, as long as the enemy hasn't taken their turn, a turn doesn't go by. So it's you and the enemy, and then that's considered a turn. So technically, even though I didn't finish him off, if I finish him off now, it'll still count as 2 turns. You know, so. Take this. This is my trump card. Really, just a single missile? Seems a bit overblown, don't you think, Kyosuke? And the benefit of playing as Kyosuke here is to get a decent amount of money because of his fortune stat, or skill. Anyway, we get a new skill, the Assail ability. And we got Battle Master, so. Yay! It's time! Corporal, let's begin the emergency variable test. What? If he transforms now? Why are the drones loaded with "Do not question my orders, Corporal"? Yes, sir. Commencing variable test. That bastard set me up. I have no choice but to play his game. Kyosuke, abort the mission and return to base. You're exceeding your authority, Herb. Don't give me that. You're trying to kill him. Watch yourself, Lieutenant. Whatever happens, happens. Luck, I guess, huh? Oh dear. It won't finish transforming. Ah! Kyosuke! Alert, the Vauldemare went down in the ocean. Last we've lost a fine pilot. Now Industries must be held accountable for this. Retrieve the unit and have it sent back to the moon. Exclamation point. And tell your former partner Ring that this was all Now Industries' fault. Bastard! Lieutenant Colonel. What? Didn't you hear my orders? Return that mech. But the pilot's alive, sir. He survived that explosion? Kyosuke, do you copy? Kyosuke! Ugh. Ugh. The devil's luck. Well, I guess I'll just have to expel him from here. I'm okay. I think I broke some ribs, though. I managed to survive. Again. Huh. Well, what was that all about? Why did Kyosuke say he's done this whole situation again? And why does his boss have such a situation with him? And can he really get into a better situation than this? Maybe a new set of allies? We'll find out what happens next time in the next episode of Super Robot Taisen Original Generation Kyosuke scenario. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time.